Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel. Today, a book haul video. I don't typically do book hauls because normally I'm not buying enough books at the same time to justify that. I will do quarterly book hauls because, 3 months I will acquire enough books to talk about, but usually in a single shopping trip, I'll grab one book, maybe two books. I don't have a ton of used bookstores around me, so I can't just come home with cheap books all the time. And usually a quarterly book haul is sufficient. However, thanks to eBay, I have made a purchase, a rather large purchase, of 22 Buffy the Vampire Slayer novels. And I thought it might be interesting if you're a Buffy fan to just go through each of these books with me. I'll read bits of the descriptions off the back, and if any of them sound interesting to you and you're a Buffy fan, you can hit up eBay and pick and choose the ones you want and not grab 22 at the same time like I did. So with that, I'll show the first book. Now, a lot of these are original novels or tie-ins, but some of them are novelizations of actual episodes of the show. The first one is The Harvest, and I'm going to be going through these mostly in publication order. Near the end, it's going to get a little wonky because of certain mini-series, but most of this is going to be in order. So the first book that was published, I believe, is this one, The Harvest. And this is a direct adaptation of the episodes of The Harvest featuring the Master from season 1. So this was published in 1997. Show was in its first season. It had just really come out. So what it's doing is it's basically introducing who Buffy Summers is, what the Hellmouth is, what she's doing in Sunnydale, and who the Master is, the first big bad from that first season of Buffy. So if you've seen the show and you've seen that episode, you kind of know what this one's about. The second book is Halloween Reign. This is written by Christopher Golden and Nancy Holder. I forgot to say, this one is by Richie Tankersley Cusick. Chris Golden and Nancy Holder are going to come up a lot in these books. They did a lot of these Buffy books. And this one I thought was going to be a novelization of the Halloween episode featuring Ethan Rayne. And I was excited about that. It's not that, unfortunately, but it does still sound pretty fun. So around Sunnydale, they say a scarecrow saturated with Halloween rain will come alive and slaughter anyone in sight. Buffy's best friends, Xander and Willow, used to think the tale was nonsense, but after a few adventures with Buffy, they're not so sure. Even without a maniacal scarecrow, a Sunnydale Halloween is a truly horrific happening. There are enough zombies and vampires about, ready to party hardy and eat some brains, to keep the Slayer and her friends up all night. And then the rain starts to fall. So, sounds pretty fun. I'll probably read this for Halloween. I do notice there a bit of an inconsistency, because in the show it's established that on Halloween it's actually a very quiet night in Sunnydale, because vampires don't really care for it. So, I don't know. I wonder if this was maybe written before that episode was written itself. Possible. I think this is also 97. That episode may have been 98. So, whatever. I don't know that I would consider these books like canonical. They're basically like fan fiction, I would say. Coyote Moon is third by John Vornholt. This one features a spooky carnival. The seedy carnival looks like just the thing to give Buffy and her best buds, Xander and Willow, a break from staking bloodsuckers. Some greasy food, a few cheap thrills. What more could a Slayer ask for? But then, Buffy senses something evil behind this carnival. Xander and Willow aren't so sure. They don't buy Buffy's notion that the carnies are somehow connected to the corpses turning up around Sunnydale. It doesn't help that her two best friends are each interested in someone at the carnival, which puts the burden of proof on Buffy. Can she find out what's going on in time to save her friends? Or has the Slayer become the prey? Love a good spooky carnival, you know? Maybe that's going to challenge Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes for the best spooky carnival book ever written. Anything's possible if you're insane. Fourth book, Blooded. This one is by Chris Golden and Nancy Holder. And, oh boy, okay, that's a name. Chirayoju, a vampire of Chinese lore, and Sano, the legendary Japanese mountain king, have been locked in deadly battle for centuries. Literally. An ancient curse imprisoned the spirits of these two warriors in an antique sword, until the sword arrives in Sunnydale. Freed by accident, Chirayoju searches for a host body that will allow him to continue wreaking havoc among the living and the dead. Now Buffy's on the trail of this legendary vampire, a bloody trail that leads straight through the heart of the Buffy-Xander-Willow triangle. This one's also got Angel on the cover, so I guess he's going to factor in as well. I wonder if Angel is less boring in the books. And one thing that is already, I think, like, disappointing about this lot is that because these are the first books published in like the earlier seasons of the show, there's not a ton of Spike, I don't think. I think I saw him on one cover, but since he hadn't established himself as a main character yet at this point, I don't think they use him a lot, which is disappointing because he is the best. But nevertheless, Child of the Hunt is next. This is another Chris Golden and Nancy Holder joint. Jousting contests, human chess matches, lords and ladies and beggars. A traveling Renaissance fair has come to Sunnydale. The fair may seem terminally uncool, but Buffy and her friends are charmed anyway, especially by a sad-eyed boy named Roland, who serves as the court jester. Unfortunately, the people from the fair are not the only visitors in Sunnydale. Roaming the countryside are nasty little creatures with a taste for flesh, the Dark Fairy. They are minions of the Wild Hunt, servants of the evil Earl King. So, sounds like we're dealing with some Ren Fair problems and some Dark Fae. That sounds pretty cool. This is Return to Chaos by Craig Shaw Gardner. I've already read this one, actually. I read this for Garb August. It's how I got into this mess, where I found out that I enjoyed media tie-ins and novelizations. So I'll read this one as well. This is a duplicate copy. I'll probably donate this one because I don't need to. But here we go. The Hellmouth has drawn vampires, witches, and other demons to its powerful vortex. Now it has also drawn the attention of an ancient sect of druids, allies in Buffy Summers' battle against the undead. Cloaked in darkness, wrapped in mystery, the druids descend on Sunnydale, ready to perform new rituals to summon forth a new world order, free from the evil that shaped Buffy's nights. But the Slayer's concerns are more immediate. Someone is stalking her friends. Cordelia, Xander, and Oz are all falling victim to this new spell. And now it's up to Willow and Giles to find the cause, while Buffy stands between the mouth of hell and the new dawn. I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, this is what got me into this whole thing. And I was really impressed by how this captured the voice of the show. And like the dialogue and cadence of the characters was really authentic. And it really just put me in the mood for it. So I started watching the show again after I finished this one. And so this is the only one that I could say for sure, like, I recommend it because I've read it. And I'm sure all of these are probably pretty fun. Next is Visitors by Laura Ann Gilman and Josepha Sherman. The Dance of Death. The paranormal forces centered in Sunnydale attract the vilest kinds of evil. Vamps, demons, and student teachers? An invasion of collegians testing their teaching prowess on Buffy and her peers coincides with the arrival of a supernatural stalker. The Slayer feels the evil entity watching her every move, and she's not the only one. But researching the beast is going to be problematic with the student teachers setting up shop in Giles' home turf, the school library. So it sounds like people getting in the way of the Scooby Gang investigation. Could be some hijinks there. Could be fun. Get them out of the library. Have to do some different type of research. We'll see. Unnatural Selection is next by Mel Odom. Don't like this cover. I don't like the way that Xander's looking at Willow. I don't like Xander. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I will never forgive him for what he does to Anya. Anyway, Willow is trying to earn a little pocket change by taking the usual teenage part-time job, babysitting the neighbor's kid. But her childcare chores turn into a scene from a horror movie when the baby gives her the evil eye and attacks. Barely escaping the tiny terror, Willow can't forget the missing human child, or the monstrous thing left in its place. The childish changeling keeps coming back to haunt and taunt her. Buffy and her posse soon discover a possible connection between Willow's infant interloper and some strange artifacts Giles found at a local archaeological dig. The evil plaguing Willow was once trapped underground. Now that it has been unearthed by new construction on the property, it's ready to cause some major mischief and worse. So it sounds like a very Willow-heavy book, which I'm down with. Next up is Obsidian Fate by Diana G. Gallagher. On the outskirts of Sunnydale, recent rains have uncovered the remains of a 500-year-old Spanish expedition. But one of the artifacts, a smoky mirror with an ornately carved obsidian frame, goes missing, along with the history teacher who found it. And when Buffy narrowly escapes the attack of a black jaguar while on patrol, Giles puts the gang into research mode. An ancient volume identifies the missing mirror as a magical object formed by the Aztec god of darkness. A mortal who looks into the mirror will see his or her fate and can be manipulated by the evil god who is scheming to regain his power. I feel like the backs of these might give away like a lot of information. Now that I'm like reading through them. This is my first time reading through them. And I don't know. I wonder if that's like the twist. I don't know. I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read like most of it. Maybe I'll leave the endings unread to you guys to leave some mystery. It's not like it's great literature or anything, but I don't know. I feel like they're very detailed and they don't need to be. Next is The Power of Persuasion by Elizabeth Massey. It's another one that's got stupid Xander on the back. Oh, yeah. I did read this one, and this one has the potential to be really cringy, depending. We'll see. But when the female population of Sunnydale starts strutting its girl power, the push for gender equality seems like a normal expression of 90s feminism. After all, a girl trying out for the football team isn't usually a sign of imminent danger. But when the guys start acting like powerless pawns, and a few even turn up dead, Buffy Summers notices that the local women's movement has reached a feverish and probably unnatural pitch. So yeah, sounds like it could be a lot of fun. It also sounds like it has the potential to be a bit cringe. I will find out. Next is Immortal by Christopher Golden and Nancy Holder. Throwing off the color palette completely. Got stark red cover here. Everything else is green and purple and black. Very striking cover. Let's see what this one's about. During a routine slaying, Buffy encounters a vampire named Veronique, who knows the Slayer's name and can anticipate her attack. One who doesn't have the proper respect for Mr. Pointy. One who cannot die. If slain, she will reincarnate in a new body. An invincible demon is the last thing Buffy needs right now. Joyce Summers is about to undergo a serious operation, calling up all of her daughter's fears about her own mortality. Angel wants to comfort Buffy, but her mother's crisis underscores the difference between them. He will live forever, while she will grow old or die young. Torn between her duties as a daughter and as the chosen one, Buffy needs the support of her friends to help her solve a rash of grave robberies, head off an influx of new vampires, and take Veronique down once and for all. So, sounds to me like it's going to be maybe a Buffy and Angel heavy one. I'm not team Buffy Angel. I'm team Spuffy 100%. They don't even have a good ship name. What is it? Buffangel? Angefy? Come on. How could you be a good ship if you don't have a good ship name? Ridiculous. Anyway, Sins of the Father by Christopher Golden. Solo effort. No Nancy Holder this time. He's stretching his wings. One night while on patrol, the Slayer and her friends are outnumbered and receive aid from a totally unexpected source, Buffy's old flame, Pike. I had to look that up because I forgot who Pike was. It's been a long time since I've seen the original movie. Pike was Luke Perry's character there. So maybe I'm due for a rewatch of that. But if I didn't look that up, it would have taken me forever to either remember that or I would have never remembered it at all. He and Buffy had a complex relationship back in LA when the Chosen One was first called. Now Pike has arrived in Sunnydale on the run from a stone demon with a grudge. Faced with his blast from the past, Buffy finds herself caught between her history with Pike and her future with Angel. Again, I'm never going to be on Angel's side, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Next up, Resurrecting Ravana, I don't know, by Ray Garton. All right. With midterms looming, the students at Sunnydale High are predictably stressed out. Even super student Willow is feeling the pressure to succeed, and when her usual study buddies, Buffy, Xander, and Oz, decide they don't need her tutorial sessions, Willow wonders if she's really what they don't need. But her hurt feelings don't explain her sudden antagonism towards Buffy or the strange dreams they've both been having. Alright, I'm not going to read anything else on that. That's interesting to me. I always like I like Willow. I think she's a good character. She's an interesting character. And I really enjoy like her character arc throughout the series. So her and Buffy kind of butting heads, I think is pretty interesting. And I want to leave as much of that to my imagination as possible. Next up is Prime Evil by Diana G. Gallagher. When attractive, youthful Crystal Gregory takes a teaching position at Sunnydale High, she also takes what seems to be an instant dislike to Buffy Summers. Buffy's Slayer sense doesn't detect anything unusual about the teacher, but when you're living on a Hellmouth, nothing is what it seems. Crystal isn't above playing favorites, and her pets, including Willow, Michael, and Anya, are loyal to her in the extreme. This wouldn't bother Buffy, but for the fact that she has found a fresh burn mark on 2 of the students' necks. Giles immediately recognizes the symbol as the mark of a powerful witch whose existence predates the Salem witch trials. We're getting Anya in the mix. I love Anya. And that's why I hate Xander. So, I'm excited to get some Anya action. Yeah. And Salem witch trials, pretty neat that we're bringing that in. I don't think that they touch on that in the show. So that's a fun little avenue to explore. All right, we got 8 books left, so thank you for your patience. The next is Here Be Monsters. Something icky is brewing as usual in Sunnydale. This time it's in the form of 2 clean-cut prep school-type boys. Buffy's suspicious from the start. Their fashion statement is so old it's dead, and it seems they have a slightly unnatural attachment to their mother. But then almost everything about these boys is unnatural. They're vampires. Not ordinary vampires either. They are descendants of a clan known for its ability to summon powerful occult forces. And when the Slayer dusts this dynamic duo, she learns what you get when you mess with a vamp family tree. Doesn't sound overly interesting. Sounds pretty, standard. We'll see. I'll get there eventually. But I don't know. That one seemed a little dull, a little basic. Next up, The Evil That Men Do by Nancy Holder. Has the partnership between Nancy Holder and Christopher Golden been dissolved? Is there drama there? I should look that up. But anyway, after a vicious shooting spree, the town of Sunnydale is shell-shocked. What could have sparked the random rampage? Buffy Summers can guess. Considering the prophetic dreams she's been having, the Slayer suspects possession by an especially malevolent force. As the police follow their typical false leads, the Slayerettes start up their own research into possible paranormal causes. But when Oz's van is discovered on the side of the road, minus one teen wolf, a distraught Willow turns on Buffy, disrupting the investigation. With the pressure in Sunnydale mounting, the residents' reactions to stress grow increasingly unpredictable. The Slayer continues her search for answers, narrowly surviving an attack by a well-trained and powerful vampire who brought a gruesome death to every slayer who crossed her path. Is this the ancient creature behind the recent influx of evil, or is there another influence close to home? This one sounds like it's dark. A shooting spree. This is 2000. When was Columbine? Columbine was before that. Oh. So maybe they're getting a little topical, maybe a little intense. We'll see about that one. I keep saying we'll see. How many times did I say it? I'm gonna edit this, and I'm gonna be so annoyed at myself that I keep saying we'll see. And there's nothing I'm gonna do about it because I'm not gonna refilm it, and I can't cut it all out. So we'll see. Out of the Madhouse by Christopher Golden and Nancy Holder. They're back together. Those crazy kids. I'm glad they worked it out. This is actually the first book in a trilogy. They call it the Gatekeeper trilogy. And all three of those are part of this lot here. So this first one, Out of the Madhouse, werewolves, trolls, sea monsters, rain of toads, skyquakes. Sunnydale is being besieged by dark forces. But even with Buffy providing her unique style of damage control, while Giles is hospitalized out of town, it's more than one Slayer can handle, especially since the abominations are coming from a centuries-old portal through time and space. Somehow, the hellhole must be found and corked at its source. For Buffy, Angel, and the rest of her gang, that means a road trip to Boston, where an alien gatekeeper resides over a supernatural mansion that has been, until recently, holding the world's worst monsters at bay. We're hitting the road. That's fun. Yeah, all right. And the second book in this trilogy is Ghost Roads. And I wonder if this is going to spoil anything. If it does, I'll cut this. Buffy, Oz, and Angel are Europe-bound. Only they're not flying any airlines. Well, you can't because of Angel. They're traveling Limbo's ghost roads in search of Jacques Reglois. Jacques is the sole heir of the dying gatekeeper whose Boston mansion is a supernatural barrier restraining thousands of world monsters. The evil Sons of Entropy will do anything to destroy the gate, even if it means trading the power-laden Spear of Longinus to the wicked vampires holding Jacques. Back home, the ghost ship Flying Dutchman has set sail for Sunnydale, determined to Shanghai new crewmen, dead or alive. For Willow, Xander, Cordelia, and Giles, it's an ocean of trouble, especially when the monstrous Kraken reemerges with a vengeance. Oh, I can't wait to read this. This sounds awesome. We got the Kraken. I wonder if that means we got Davy Jones. He's the captain of the Flying Dutchman, right? We're going to Europe. Traveling ghost roads like Limbo reminds me of the ways in Wheel of Time. Ooh, this sounds like a lot of fun. I might prioritize the Gatekeeper trilogy just to read that one. And the third one is Sons of Entropy by Chris Golden and Nancy Holder. Led by the fanatical Il Maestro, the Sons of Entropy are assaulting the supernatural Boston mansion that holds back the realm of monsters and stealing the life force from the besieged Gatekeeper. In Limbo, the ghost roads are crumbling, becoming weak and unstable, where hell and the otherworld have begun seeping in, blurring the passages that lead to the human world. And Xander lies mortally wounded, good, from a failed attempt to free Joyce Summers from the clutches of the zealots who hold her hostage. I don't like Joyce either. With the Gatekeeper rapidly weakening, Buffy sends Willow and Cordelia to escort Xander. Okay, now we're getting into I don't know, I guess spoiler stuff. But that sounds super fun. I'm looking forward to reading that trilogy. And now the last three books here are all novelizations of episodes. So there's actually two here called the Willow Files, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And Volume 1 is a novelization of I, Robot, You, Jane, Phases, which is the Oz episode where he's revealed as the wolf. So that's exciting. And Dead Man's Party, which I just watched yesterday, a couple days ago. It was an okay episode. Good drama between Willow and Buffy in that one. And Volume 2 is novelizations of Gingerbread, Doppelgangland, which is a banger, and Choices. Which one is Choices? Choices is an important one. I'm blanking right now. But those sound kind of fun. And then we have, if I knew this was in the lot, I wouldn't have bought it. The Xander Years. Volume 2. Doesn't even have Volume 1. And this one, it does actually collect some episodes that I do enjoy, because it was from when Xander was still a little tolerable. This collects novelizations of The Pack from Season 1, Go Fish from Season 2, and the Zeppo from Season 3. Zeppo is a good episode. Zeppo's a very good episode. And I like the Go Fish one, too. And honestly, The Pack... Nah, The Pack's a little cringy. But they eat the pig. Eat the pig in The Pack. But that's all 22. We did it. We made it through. I hope this was interesting. I know this is a longer video than I usually do. But I think people like that. I don't know. I see other booktube videos and they're like 20 to 40 minutes long. And I guess like there's like an ASMR aspect to it. I guess I should have kept that in mind. I shouldn't have been shouting this whole time. I don't know. Now I'm self-conscious. Anyway, those are the Buffy books that I'll be reading. I don't know if I'm going to be talking about these on the channel as I read them. I don't know if they're going to be worth like full video reviews, but they'll probably be mentioned here and there. So stick around for that. If you want reviews of them, let me know. If you've read any of them, let me know. And if you're a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, let's talk about it. If you're not a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, why? Thank you for spending some time with me today. But now, it's time to get back to reading all of these books.